what it was.
Right. I'm not a big Trekkie, but I am. I got some Trekkie blood in me, I guess.
Yeah.
It wasn't... I never really liked the original series with Kirk and everybody.
Okay.
I was more of a Next Generation and on.
Okay.
I actually would like to see more. And I think we're going to see more. If it goes over in the box office like everybody's predicting,
I think it has.
We're gonna see
more of the movies like that.
Yeah, I think that they've revitalized the franchise, and we're going to see Part 2 and Part 3 and Part 4. But as I was watching it, I seen some source material for some role-playing games in there.
Have you ever played Star Trek, the role-playing game?
No. I bought Starfleet Battles when I was... Well, back when Starfleet Battles was out.
Okay.
Let's not date me. But,
now, what was that? That was a board game, wasn't it?
Kind of. It was you played on a hex map, and it was ship-to-ship combat. But the rule book was about like that, and it was done in a college manual format, like Chapter 7. 7.2.24, 7.2.25. Each paragraph has its own number. Mm-hmm. That way you can reference it,
back to it. Wow.
And go back and forth. So, and I was probably 14 or 15.
Wow.
Trying to figure that out, and, I said, okay, well, I'll get a couple buddies together. We'll figure this out. And I couldn't get nobody into it.
Really? Okay, nobody wanted to play.
Nobody, and I'm into aerial combat. Like the one game Wings of War.
Yeah.
I love that one. It's aerial combat. I'm into aerial combat. I figured this would be a perfect game for me, and I just couldn't get anybody to.
Wow. Do you still have it, or did you just go away to Dodo?
I think I do still have it in one of the books, because I've carted this thing around. I think it's in my storage unit.
Okay.
Because I do have a box of just maps and being a DM, all the little stuff that you draw up that you just can't get rid of. Probably never use it again, but you're carting this shit around from house to house to house to house. Yeah, I think I've tried thinning it down over the years, but I still end up with a good box that's heavy as fuck,
Well, I remember rolling up a character. I remember rolling up a character for the role-playing game, because it had its own standalone role-playing game. I don't know if I ever played. I know it has. I know you can play it, a derivative of it in GURPS. I think you can, and then you can play another one. Can you play for Palladium Star? Is there
Palladium systems? You can, especially with rifts. You can link any game to that. The characters walk through a rift and.
Just talking about rifts again.
Yeah. You guys need to give me your opinions on rifts, because I hear all these people talk so bad about it. I want to know what's wrong with it. So right down here will be our email. Email us. Tell us what's wrong. Go to our forums. I've got a whole little section on the forums about it.
We are going to do a whole Palladium episode, and we'll bring out all our stuff. But right now, it's just we're playing a space game, and I don't have any problem with it. It's kind of fun.
The rules, it's kind of like Savage Worlds. You can take that rule set and put any setting to it very easily. That's what I was when I was watching the Star Trek movie. The one thing that caught my eye out of the whole movie was the guy's backpack. When it repacked itself.
Yeah.
That was just the coolest shit. I was sitting there thinking, I've always taken these characters. I've always made sure I had 9 times out of 10 swimming, scuba, and skydiving. Some piloting skill, some form of piloting skill. I always took parachuting because that way, if I screw up, I can always jump out the plane. But when I seen that and the way it pulled back in and folded up, I just thought that was the coolest thing for a character. I mean, the wheels started turning, and that's what you got to do when you're being a DM and seeing these movies. you see that little thing that sparks the mind and gets you going. Source material. I mean, I don't care if you're playing an army game. You could put that backpack, you know.
That's awesome.
You'll be James Bond, and Q gives you this backpack that repacks itself.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And another thing about that movie that I thought was, and I don't think many people, I've heard nobody else talk about this, but when they did the space scenes, where it was actually out in space, you know, you're not going to hear the laser blast and stuff like that. But they always put that in the movies. You see the big fireballs, and well, the fireball's only going to be as big as the oxygen supply. So you're not going to have these huge fireballs that are, you know, the size of a planet. And I mean, they do that for the movie to make it more entertaining. But the way they did space and the echoey sound, I don't know if you caught on to that.
It was neat, yeah. It was the first time I've ever seen that before.
Right, I think that's the most realistic that I've ever seen in any movie. You know, they always have all these sound effects and all this stuff going on in space movies, but I think that movie portrayed space the truest that I've ever seen.
Oh, cool.
You know, and I've heard nobody else talk about that.
I liked it. What did you think about them being so young? Did you think it was like 90210 in space?
Kind of. I don't see...
That was the only thing. It's like, why? I understand why they did it, just to get the younger crowd in there, but, oh boy.
Yeah, and then how Kirk got on the ship. As soon as you get back to base, they yanked his ass off that ship. Captain or no captain, field promotions don't count. You weren't supposed to go on the trip in the first place.
Yeah.
And the doctor would be in the brig right along with his ass.
Yeah.
That was a little stretching. And in the beginning of the movie where he almost falls off the cliff.
With the old car.
Yeah. Now, you know, that reminded me of riffs. The hover cycles. I'll show you in the Coalition has bikes that are almost identical to that.
Now, wait, what's a coalition? Now, I know we don't play on the planet, but the planet's broken up into a bunch of factions, right?
They're the Nazi human race.
Okay.
If you're not human, you're scum.
Okay.
We should kill you. This is our planet. Get the fuck off. And their police force has hover cycles. It was right out of riffs.
That's
mean,
cool. All right.
As soon as I seen that, that's the first thing I thought of was the Sky Cycles. So.
All right, tell us what other movies you want us to see. I mean, it doesn't have to be current. I mean, we can watch anything. You guys give us suggestions, and we will go and watch a movie. Or it doesn't matter. We'll go look at it and see what we can do. See how we can plug it into gaming.
Yeah. Now this one didn't have a lot that you could have plugged into the gaming that I seen. The big drill bit, but you know, you'd have to be a pretty powerful character to have something like that. And if you're that powerful, you don't need Star Trek to give you an idea. Yeah. You've been playing long enough that. You know, there wasn't too much source material that I could have pulled out of that movie. There was a few little things here and there.
If you were playing a Star Trek theme, I guess you could do the whole reboot if you wanted to. You could do that, kind of take on how the universe is now, but I don't know. If you're playing Star Trek, you're already playing Star Trek.
Right, you're going to have more source material in that movie. I was kind of disappointed as a DM. You know, when I watch a movie, I see things like, you know, I could run the guys through that, you know. Let's twist it. Even though it's a space movie and we're playing a Western, we'll change this fighter to a stagecoach, and that's pretty easy to do. You just use the basic background story.
Yeah.
This one didn't have a lot that you could...
It was pretty looking.
Yeah. I don't know. I wasn't real keen on the Romulans either. That ship, the rogue, rogue Romulan. I don't see the Romulan Empire letting somebody get away with a big ass ship like that. Besmirch their beautiful name.
That's right.
I think they'd have put a kibosh to that, and I don't know. I mean, he was actually the guy that killed Kirk's dad.
Yeah.
So, and he's still running around, and nobody stopped this guy in 20-some years.
Nobody said anything. It's like, well, okay. Well, that's what we think of the movie. So there you go. What you want? You want to review something? You want to review a game, or what you feel? It's up to you.
I guess we could do that. Let's
take a little break.
Yeah, we'll take a break. Let some sponsors get some airtime, and we'll be back.
Okay.